Welcome to Package Your Genius. I'm your host, Amanda Miller Littlejohn. I'm a former print journalist turned PR and personal branding pro, and I am here to help high achievers like you bring your genius ideas to life. Whatever gift you have to give the world, I want to be a catalyst for your next genius move. If you're ready to stop overthinking it and start putting yourself out there, you're in the right place. Let's go. Welcome back to another episode of Package Your Genius. I have been contemplating whether or not I wanted to record this episode for some time now because I think for some people it'll be a little controversial, or at the very least it will call into question some long-held beliefs that you may have about yourselves. So the myth of being multi-passionate is something that I hear all the time. Number one, when I'm talking to new potential clients who are trying to figure out the lane that they want to take their personal brands and how they want to position themselves and what niche they want to make themselves a part of, or what niche they want to claim and what clients they want to go after and all of this. And sometimes people fall into this story about how they are multi-passionate and therefore they are all over the place. And because they're multi-passionate, they haven't been able to nail down their brand. They haven't been able to get their website created. They have 17 Facebook pages and Twitter accounts, and they can't manage any of them well, or they're not getting traction with any of them. But they have all of these passions and they don't want to deny themselves any of the passions because each of the passions is equally important as the others, and it's just a big mess. And I have a competing idea. First of all, I think that this whole idea of being multi-passionate keeps high achievers stuck in analysis paralysis because they can't decide on their focus area. And so they fail to move forward on their brands because they can't pick a direction, or they feel like each of their directions will require a complete brand build out. And especially for someone who's just starting out and is brand new, with putting a brand out there that will be monetized, and you are just trying to get your first few clients, make your first $10,000 or $100,000, right? Maybe you're in that first 1 to 2 years. Maybe you're doing this on the side and you've got a full-time job. I don't know what your situation is, but suffice it to say, you've got a lot going on, likely. And so you probably don't have a lot of time to manage all this extra stuff in addition to your full-time job or your family or whatever else you've got going on. And so, as you can hear, I think having all of these different brands is just inherently a bad idea. So here are 3 reframes for the multi-passionate. Number 1, I personally believe you actually dilute your credibility when you cast yourself as multi-passionate. You're diluting yourself, at least in the beginning. People can only digest one thing at a time. And if they're coming to you for your help, your message needs to be extremely clear. So even if you are multi-passionate, don't brand yourself that way. Don't cast yourself that way. Don't tell other people that you're multi-passionate, because it just makes you sound like you are indecisive and you can't pick a lane and you aren't really clear on what you're really good at. And so even if you're listening to me right now and you're saying, well, Amanda, I can't pick a lane. I don't know what I'm good at. Keep listening. We're going to get there. Number 2, I believe that you can offer different things, but you can only focus your marketing on one thing at a time. So for me, I might help high achievers get clear on their message, get visible to build an audience, and position their services to earn a consistent $10,000 a month to start, right? So those are 3 different things, but I can only share one message at a time. Now, a cool loophole that you can absolutely steal is you can create one offer that includes all 3 of those services, then market that. So again, even if you are doing 3 different things, you can only message one thing at a time. But if all of those 3 things are connected, you can build something that contains all of them, and then you can market that one thing. So for me, that one thing is the Package Your Genius Academy Visibility Mastermind, right? It includes clarity on your message, visibility to build an audience, and how you position your services to earn $10K a month. But those 3 things are happening in a sequence, and they're all connected because everyone who's coming to me wants to build a personal brand that generates enough revenue for them to live on and potentially employ other people. But I can only market the academy. If I start breaking it up and talking about all the pieces, it gets confusing. Another example of that is Marie Forleo and her B School. I think she's got like 6 or 8 modules in there, and they're all different. But ultimately, they're all teaching you how to build an online business. And she's been super successful with that. So that brings me to my final point, my third and final point. I don't really believe you're multi-passionate. I just believe you probably do 3 or 4 things really well. And those 3 or 4 things all help your potential clients achieve one big goal. So when you think about that umbrella offer that I just mentioned, my offer with Package Your Genius Academy, you could look at those 3 things and say, oh, they're all so different, but they're not really different because they're all just different parts of this bigger goal of creating a personal brand that generates significant revenue. You likely do a few things that are all doing the same thing, or at least doing a piece of the same thing. So if you were to look at my past career, and I've talked about this in terms of building on your foundation and not forgetting your roots and not forgetting all the different things that you've been and all the things that you've done. So I started out doing social media marketing, and then I was doing PR and media relations, and then helping people with public speaking and figure out their message. Those all are different things, but they all are achieving the same goal of helping clients make themselves visible so they can stand out for opportunities. And so if you look at your talents and your gifts from that lens, maybe you really just have a few different things that are leading you to help people do one big thing or get one big result. So maybe you're not multi-passionate. Maybe you just need an umbrella message, or maybe even an umbrella offer like Package Your Genius Academy, like I just described, that ties all of your passions together and solves a bigger problem. But that is the goal for me, is to really help people see what is the theme, not only of their life, their work, their case studies, their experiences, their track record, and their wins. But also when you look at all of the different things that you want to offer, or you want to do, or you want to create for clients, and you feel like you're all over the place and I've got all these things, how can we sort all of those things into maybe 3 categories and figure out, how does this fit into my framework for helping people reach this bigger goal? Because I think when you do that, you can see that there is one clear message that can be pulled out of all of that. And that is what you hinge your brand upon. And so that's what we look for and are on the hunt for in all of my personal branding programs. One more quick note I forgot to share. So a few years ago, there was a big push to creating personal branding websites based on your domain name. So your name as the domain or the URL, right? So for me, that's AmandaMillerLittlejohn.com. And then I think there's been somewhat of a backlash because people want to have a website or a brand that's bigger than them because they want to eventually be able to leave it, or they want to be able to grow it and hire more people. And they don't want to be, they don't want their brand to depend on them working in it or serving the clients or delivering the service or delivering the cookies or whatever the business does. And that's very valid. And I actually don't have a dog in that fight. Like, I think you can do either. I think it's fine to have a company name. I think it's fine to use your own name. But I think one of the advantages for those of you who feel like you are quote unquote multi-passionate is when you use your name can stand for whatever you want it to stand for today, right? And so AmandaMillerLittleJohn.com might stand for pursuing your passions and packaging your genius in one season, but then it may stand for helping children find their genius or helping parents find their children's genius in another season. And it's not a heavy lift to make that switch. And so I think one of the advantages to using your name as your brand name, if you are extremely multi-passionate and indecisive and can't nail down a direction or nail down a message, and that is what's keeping you from moving forward and getting business and getting clients, just use your name to start, because it can encompass whatever message that you want it to right now. And if it needs to evolve, it can. So that's, I guess, a fourth point for you. My points for this episode on being multi-passionate. Number one, it's a bad idea to cast yourself as being multi-passionate because you dilute your credibility when you verbalize that you do all of these things and you say to your audience that you're all over the place. Like, it's diluting to say that I am multi-passionate. That's number one. Number two, while you can offer different things, you can only focus your marketing on one thing at a time, right? And so that might mean you need to create an umbrella program or service that captures the different things that you do. Number three, you are not really multi-passionate. You just likely do 3 to 4 things that all help your clients achieve one big result. And so the solution to that is point number 2, just create something that holds all of those things and then market the big result versus the 3 smaller results, like I do with Package Your Genius Academy. And number 4, if you are stuck and paralyzed and can't decide a direction, can't figure out, how you want to go or what name you want to use, start with your name, because it's possible to build a personal brand name that stands the test of time. And if your name should change or the meaning behind your brand name should change, and you start out doing social media and you end up doing PR, kind of like me, right? Or you end up doing coaching like me, it doesn't take a huge lift to change the messaging on a website without having to create a whole new one or find a whole nother URL or a whole new business name when you're doing business under your own name. Again, it's fine to me either way. I think both can work. But for those of you who can't make a decision and feel like your multi-passionatism is holding you back or keeping you stuck from moving forward, one good step forward would be to use your own name as your URL and just market yourself and the services that you have under that. So we're starting a new round of Package Your Genius Academy for the spring of 2020. So if you're listening to this before that, then you still have time to submit an application to join us. We're starting in early March for our signature 90-day program where I take students through the process of getting clear on that message and building a clear message, figuring out how they can become visible and build an audience online, and how they can position their services to earn at least a consistent 10K per month. And so that's what we're up to in Package Your Genius Academy. It's super fun, great group of high achievers. And basically, I'm really helping people get out of their own way, because a lot of times we've got the answers inside of us. We just need somebody who can mirror back to us what makes sense and to show us when we're being ridiculous, and help us stop waffling and stop procrastinating and just get something out there so that it can be observed and used by the people who need it. We can get feedback, we can improve it, and we can just get this party started. So if you're interested in that, visit packageyourgeniusacademy.com, where you can take a look at the curriculum for the program and submit your application. All right, guys, thanks for listening. It's been a rainy week, so I'm glad to get a little reprieve, and I hope that this weather holds so I can get another hike in tomorrow. I've only been able to get out and hike one day this week, so that's been kind of weird, because I love my hikes. That's where I get my podcast ideas, honestly. So hopefully I can get back out there into the woods. But thanks for listening. I'll see you next time. Bye.